there's a really amazing moment with her when she's, hanging out at the studio and she's talking to Nick, and they're talking about the origin story, I guess, or the motivation for her 2009 performance at the VMAs when she's talking about Paparazzi.
Yeah.
And she's talking about Marilyn Monroe and Anna Nicole Smith, and if you could correct me, that'd be great. It seems like she's talking about Amy Winehouse.
Yeah.
Would you mind kind of exploring that? I mean, is this something that you guys talked about? Because I know that she's been a massive fan of Amy, and she's, so could
They
I
were
was
friends.
wondering if you could expound upon that.
Her and I never talked about it. It was just in the line of what she was saying. She was talking about other women that had succumbed to, say, the pressures of fame or the exploitation of celebrity. And these are artists that she felt like, at least with that VMA performance where she's bleeding out on stage, she felt like it was kind of a tribute to them, right? She was like, if you want me to be sexy, I'll be sexy, but I'm also going to bleed to death, just to make you think about like all the other sex pots that lost their lives in this pop industrial complex or whatever. She's very aware of this stuff, and so she references and someone else, and she never says Amy's name, but it's understood, I think, at that moment. And it's sad. I mean, they were friends, and obviously Mark, who was working with Gaga in the studio at that time, was very close with Amy, and produced Back to Black, and Amy's spirit was sort of felt around the studio a lot, maybe just for that reason. There's some obvious sort of similarities between Gaga and Amy that people have always pointed out, just physically. Then they came out around a similar time, and they're singer-songwriters, and they both they're interested in these old sounds. But I think in a way, Gaga sees herself as a survivor. A lot of people didn't make it past 27, and Amy's one of them. And so for Gaga to have gone through that threshold, and she really walked right up to the edge, especially those years. I think she thinks of herself now as somebody who's made it past that and has survived. And I think people can be kind of cynical and be like, oh, you're rich and famous, like what do you have to worry about? And that's true. Obviously she has a lot of great support. But there is a very particular experience of being a young woman that becomes incredibly famous, or a young man as well, who becomes incredibly famous at a young age for making music and performing. And there's so much energy that's expected to pass through these kids, through these people. They take so much in and they have to push so much out, and it really can be destructive. And a lot of them don't survive, and do become are sacrificed to this experience. For her to evoke Amy at that moment was really chilling, and she doesn't dwell on it. It's just a kind of echo in the scene, but you picked up on it, so that's interesting.